Hello, everyone. This is LaVon McMillan, founder and CEO of Advocate for Me, LLC. And we are back again. I hope you enjoyed the previous podcast with Miss Frazier and her telling her story about her business as well as being a mom and an autistic advocate. So tonight I kind of spent it around. I know we always have the moms on here sharing their story and telling their experience, but since it was Father's Day, I felt that the fathers needed to come to the table and share with us. So we have two guests tonight. One, Eric has been on the show with his fiance, and he has shared a portion of his story. But tonight we're going to get his story. And then I got a special guest for you guys. So I know previously in another episode, someone had asked me about Jordan's dad and what his experience was and how he felt about a few things. And I said, well, I can't answer for him. So tonight you guys get to have Jordan's dad on tonight. So we have Eric and Jeppea Smith on. And welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always, always. So again, like I said, I felt it compelled to allow the dads to come on and share their story because you always hear the mother side of the story. And then just being able to have a voice as well as to care for their children. So the first question, y'all know I always go back to the very first day when you guys got the diagnosis. So either of you can go first, but just go back to that day when you received the diagnosis of your child. And then what is the diagnosis that your child has?
Would you like me to go first? I can go first.
You can go first. Yeah.
I remember that day because it was the same day my van had had broke down. But we were originally we were a little skeptical, especially the lack of eye contact and the lack of interaction. And Milan she's been going to daycare since she was since she was old enough to go. And one day the owner had pulled me to the side, and she was telling me that she was noticing the same thing. Like, when it was time for the kids to go do something, my line would kind of stare off into space. And I expressed to her that I was kind of thinking maybe there was something. And of course, Lexus, who was, who went to school, for that type of behavior, was, skeptical as well. And we went and got the checkup, and when they told, we kind of knew it was, but you're in denial. You kind of know, but you're in denial. And the doctor told us that she did have it. I'm not exactly, they just said she was on the autism spectrum. They said she was nonverbal. So we walked out. It was I believe it was all three of us. If not, it was me, my fiance, and Milan. And I could see it in her face, my fiance. I already was, feeling it, but to actually see it on her face, it hurt me a little. It hurt me a lot, actually. But you spouse, because two of us, going through it, breaking down wasn't gonna help each other out. So I just tried to be as supportive as I could. But the next, on my way to work, I had to catch the bus, of course, because my car had broke down, and I was talking to my mother, and during the conversation, I broke down because I think one of the biggest, the first thing that really came to mind was if she's going to be able to be capable of taking care of herself. Because as a parent, you always want to make sure that you give your kids the best opportunities to excel and get the most out of life. So my first, while I'm talking to her, I just end up crying. Like on the bus, and I remember it was cold. It was raining early morning, and she was trying to, she was letting me know it's gonna be all right, and whatnot. But I was just so afraid because I did not, when you're a kid and when other kids, but kids can sometimes be a little mean, especially towards kids of special needs. So that was another thing that was like kind of hurting me. But same time, as we're talking to, more and more people, I started to notice that there are some things that Milan does notice, and there are just some things that she doesn't. So the big thing was to like try to see if we can get her more into being more, I won't want to say vocal, but just communicating in some type of way, shape, or form, whether it was uh through sign language or whether it was just, through, constantly like trying to get her like to learn numbers and letters and whatnot. To make a long story short, after talking to Lexus the next day and talking to the owner, because they all said they were crying, and they was like, we wanted you to be in there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be in a room crying with a bunch of women. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm like, I'm good. But and then you said you tend to just accept what it is. Not many you say accept, but fast forward, and Milan is five. She's 4 years old. I'm sorry, she's 5 years old, going on 6, and she can mimic what you say. She has a bunch of puzzles and stuff that she loves putting, the little ABC puzzles, putting it inside the shapes. She loves those puzzles. She loves counting. So she has progressed a whole lot. There are still some places that, she needs work on, but the progress that she made, and especially for them to tell us that she was nonverbal, and for her to be able to talk a little bit, or at least mimic me, to know that, and now she looks me in the eye. Now she's more, you know, she's more initiating, communication with me, like whether it's like grabbing my arm and taking me somewhere, or pointing to something, like having me point to it or whatever. But yeah, that was pretty much my first initial reaction. Was I was devastated at first, but then fast forward, everything's great.
Awesome. Jay, you want to share?
Yeah.
I promise I'll be quiet.
my, mine happened when my son he was 3 months. He was premature,
Mm-hmm.
2 pounds 2 ounces,
Oh.
and we were we was really worried about how he was going to grow for his size, for his size. And as time went on, they told us he had food allergies,
Mm-hmm.
and then they found out that he was diagnosed with a thing called failure to thrive,
Mm-hmm.
which though he would have to have a feeding tube. And at first, it started out he had it in his nose, and he still wasn't getting no taller. We was we was worried about his height.
Yeah.
Well, he was a, he was so short. He was one of the shortest ones as he grew, as he went through school. He was one of the shortest ones in his class for his age, and it really bothered me. I was stressing out. She was stressing out. That we kept moving on and working with it. Me being a truck driver, it was hard for me to deal with it, and it was all on her because I'm on the road. She would deal with the appointments and everything. And every time she would go to appointment, she'd tell me, well, he got to go for this biopsy. He got to do this. I'm like, oh my goodness, what else? What else? What else? And as time grew on, he grew out of one of that. They found out that the allergies was one allergies. It wasn't that. It wasn't this. But they still had to put the feeding tube in. He still had to keep the feeding tube. We was work. We was worried about whether he was going to be picked on at school while he had the feeding tube. But he didn't. They didn't pick on him. They questioned him, but he wasn't picked on. Yeah. Then as he got older, we was able to give him the decision whether he wanted to take it from his nose and put it in the stomach. He decided to put it in the stomach, and we was even more cautious then
Yeah.
because that one had has a little bubble, has a little balloon on it. We was worried about whether he was going to pull it out or whatever. Right? As now he's 14 now. The scare is still there that it's going to come out, but I done learned how to deal with it a lot better than I did when he first got everything.
Awesome. So I know both of you went through early intervention, and I work in early intervention as a special instructor. So just through that experience, if you could share like watching your child develop, because like Eric, you said that Milan was nonverbal, and then now she's mimicking, she's able to give you eye contact, and I know those are different strategies that they work on through early intervention. And I know with Jay and our son, we watched him go from not being able to hold up his head to, walking and then being discharged out of early intervention. But if you guys can just share your experience with early intervention and, whatever other specialists your children may have experienced.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just start first with the, just the regular intervention, which was me and Lexus always believed that Milan was best suited to go to daycare and school. When after a while, when she got a little older, we took her out of that daycare because it felt like it was more of like a not the it's not to throw shade or anything, but it was like seemed more like a babysitting type thing. Where we took her out of there and put her into which they have a daycare, a summer camp, and a school in there for, if I'm not mistaken, up to I think it's pre-K, and then a bunch of camps. So our big thing was like, let's get Milan somewhere where she's going to be with teachers, where it's going to be more, when it, like I learned early that sometimes, when she has an overload, sensory overload, is because there's too much going on at one time, irritating her. And I quick. So our big thing was, let's try to get her somewhere where, yeah, you're still going to have kids, ripping and running during playtime and all that. But, they have a time where they learn colors. They have time where they learn letters. They have time to interact and play. They have arts and crafts. So the first thing for me, as far as the intervention, was getting her into a place of, I want to say, average, which is, pretty much, kids who, can, function a little faster than them. And then, Alexis, I'll give her really all of the credit. She getting her early services, and I know it. I know what they do because they, we have meetings a lot, and they always they give you so much encouragement because they just they don't come with like as if she has a condition. They come with like, yo, she's making so much progressions, and speech coach. She has a coach that gets her from one interaction to another. I don't know all the titles. Lexus know all the titles.
But no, that's fine.
Right. She has a lot of teachers and whatnot. And, we go to these meetings and they tell us how she progresses so much. She's starting to, little by little, starting to play with kids for 10 seconds, like seconds or whatever it is, because those small things, believe it or not, are not small in their world. Those are big accomplishments, you want to celebrate them as much as you can. So I just believe that through the early intervention, which is her playtime coach, a therapist, whatnot, and then her coming home and, all of us pretty much getting in these meetings and coming up with game plans or getting on each other's pages, because sometimes Milan might do stuff at our house, but she might do it differently in daycare. So the fact that we go to these meetings and they tell us, hey, what is home like? How do you guys feed her? Interaction to another. How do you get her from one thing to another? And then we just go off of what they do. They go off of what we do, and then we go, okay, let's just stick to this, and this. And we try to just keep her. I want to say with like when she comes in home, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's gonna go get her snacks. She's gonna go find her TV to watch her cartoons for a second. Then she's gonna come. She's gonna want to get into so she knows step by step, as opposed to like I said earlier, in her life when she was just trying to figure out the world, and everything was moving so fast for her. Now it seems like she's kind of, getting with the, with the sensory and whatnot. And she's very sensitive towards hearing. So we make sure she makes sure we keep her earmuffs in there. Like, we don't even have to sing it. She'll put her hands on the air like, it's too much going on, and then put the earmuffs on her. But the early intervention has been, it has been more than great to us so far.
Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. So, Jay, you want to share your experience with early intervention?
Yeah. Well, the early intervention was great because we we wasn't sure whether he was going to start walking on time, whether he going to be able to his motor skills was going to be how his motor skills was going to be. She worked the early intervention worked with him real well. Got him sitting up, had him moving around, had him grabbing stuff, sliding around on the floor, got him up crawling, and all we could do was just continue working with him as she came and did his motor skills with him.
Mm.
It was it was rough watching her stretch him out and stuff like that to get him to move,
Yeah.
and dealing working around with the tube and stuff, the feeding tube he had. It was wonderful seeing her get him to play and sitting up and everything like that. It was really tough to see, but it worked out. She got him up and walking, and we was like, okay, he's right there. But it was just monitoring his height, his weight, and everything. Then
Awesome. So with so fast forward to now, Milan is she's mimicking. She's like you said, she knows her schedule. Um, so what would you like to see Milan? Because she'll be going into school age soon. So
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to see Milan progressing? And then what's like her favorite things to do? Like I know some kids like to sing, some kids like to dance. Um, just based on like their sensory. So what would you say for Milan?
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely the singer. She when they graduated, they give them all little awards, and her says super singer. So she's the vocal one of the house. But I'm sorry, what was the first question?
So what would you like to see like with Milan going into school age?
Oh,
And just, being her dad, like what would you like to see for her?
right. Well, right now, as far as her motor skills and whatnot, she's still learning how to train. So that's like the big goal for me. Like if I could get that, I might celebrate. I might go out in the town. That's, that's the big one for me right now, is because she's talking now. So like I know that she's verbal. So that little by little can grow into something. But
Mm-hmm.
tired of the diapers. Like I'm so sick of them. I need to get them out. Like, and we try with panties and whatnot. But it's kind of hard to time her because she won't tell you when it's time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things. But moving forward, um, there's I don't think that you know what it is. From I think Milan, for me, I would like to see her like to be more um active as far as I think that's she does it to a small degree, but it's not like over a large period of time. Like she I have nieces her age. I have nephews, and they can't get enough. She's perfect in their eyes. But uh, she'll go because as soon as we leave, she cries. But then like when she's there, she interact as much as she usually like as much as I would like her to do. So pretty much more of the interaction with kids. That would be my big thing. As far as the house, yeah, it's definitely the potty. Everything else is golden.
Awesome. And then Jay, our son is transitioning into high school. So what is it that you would like to see him progressing and move forward in?
Well, he's been progressing pretty good with what he does. But he needs. I would like to see him get off the game a little bit more than he does playing the video game. He stuck to that video game. I want him to get off of it a little bit more.
Hey Jay, all these kids are. My son is too. They all stuck.
Especially with
Yeah,
COVID, they ain't got nothing to do.
yeah.
told
But
my I told him, I said, you getting big like me, man. Like, come on, you gotta slow down.
uh, uh,
You gotta walk around.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
That's big though.
He didn't caught he just about caught up to me with the body width size now.
Yeah,
But
that's
he trying to get to the height.
yeah, man. Listen, when
He
you
he, he 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 keeps pushing the height that he's getting taller than me. He
man,
ain't there yet.
listen, when
But
you find out how to get him off the game, you let me know so I can try it out.
yeah. I like to see him play sports more. I like to see him play some sports more. He was playing basketball. I would like to see him go back to playing basketball.
Nice.
Well, I will say when we went for the high school tour, they had the athletic director there, and they had a table with all the different sports. And at first he kept saying that he was table, and me and
Yeah.
his sister we was walking away like we was about to walk out, and then he walked over to the table. So he did sign up for basketball. So we'll see.
Well, that's great.
Well,
But
we definitely will.
Okay.
my Milan
Oh,
ball, I'm trying to get Milan into swimming. She's so tall, loves the water. So I'm gonna try to work that in because I'm with James. I think kids need to be more interactive with sports and less with, you know, video games. Like because Milan likes her phone too, for hours too. So
You know when we were younger, video games was there, but they wasn't popular
it
like
was a
that.
privilege. It was a privilege.
Yeah.
James, we out. We finding something to do. Like the house was for boring people. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
different.
We left the house for mom and dad to do what they wanted to do. We went outside, rode our
Hey,
bikes,
yeah, or they kicked us
and
out.
ran up and down the street. Yeah,
Yeah, or they kicked us out.
they put us out. They put us out because we was in the house making too much noise.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, break something. Go
yeah.
outside. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
true
We did.
that,
We
true
did. We didn't know what in the house was
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Only only way we knew what in the house was when you got grounded.
Yeah,
that.
that was the worst. That was like jail.
That is true.
That
That was the
that
worst. Look,
that was
I
that
told
was that was
somebody with
that was
COVID, I said, this the worst punishment ever. I ain't never stayed in the house this long.
Never. I couldn't do it back
well
in the
that
house. If it was back in the day, never.
uh,
Never, no.
we didn't know what that was. Yeah, we watched TV, but we didn't watch much TV.
Yeah. No, listen. I
You
had.
you watch you
Sorry. Go ahead.
we watch TV at night for a little bit, then that was it. Go to bed.
There you go.
Other than that, man, you go see. But what hurt most of these kids today is they took a lot of the programs out of the school
Yeah. Absolutely.
because they used to have all the after school programs.
Yeah. Now.
There's none.
Yeah. The video
If
game.
you ain't in it,
They took
if
everything.
you're not in the sport, you don't have nothing to do after school but go home and get in trouble or
Yeah.
play the game.
There you go. You know what? A couple of weeks ago, like I said, we were in the park down South Philly. I don't know if you guys ever been to school, walk the bridge down the street. It's like it goes all the way up to like
Yeah.
they have a playground there, and it has a basketball court. And I took my son out there, and we just went out there. We was playing against somebody. The next thing it turned to a 5-on-5 full. Like, yo, I see what you mean. Living back in like they don't do that anymore. They don't get out the house and go.
Yeah.
And I told him, not really about. Life is only good when you could have great memories behind it. If you just in the house playing games all day, you ain't gonna get no good memories off of that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it wasn't all this bang bang shooting them up every now and then, every day. We go out as long as you was doing some activity, wasn't no trouble.
Listen, because when
After activity was,
when people got shot, I mean, we didn't want to be in the house. So
Yeah. Now they don't even care, man.
no, but we still do.
Yeah.
I was about to say that's the key right there. As long as we still care, and we definitely do.
Wait, I keep cutting you off. I apologize.
Oh no, you good. You good. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say James. No, he like I say, he's two. I'm sorry, Jay, not James. He's 2 years older than your son, but you know the same things you go through with him. Like, you know, it's like especially the young black men. You know, you kind of want to try to keep them focused on something and keep them away from a lot of the. So it's, the fact that you spend time with your son and you want to get interact with sports and you want to get him to like be more. I don't know. I guess you said sports. You know, that's a big thing. You know, and we need fathers like you out here. We need fathers like me out here to make sure that these young men at least have a chance.
Yeah.
So you actually to my next question. As your experience as a dad, and then y'all actually kind of already start talking about it, what's going on in our city and what's going on in the world in general. Like, how do you put on? I don't know. Like, super dad is coming to my head, but you know what I mean. Like, how do you protect your children and your family in reference to literally like what's going on in the world? And I know, with their various diagnoses, it's kind of hard because we're leading them into the world as they get older. Along the way we got to release them out there. But what things are like precautions or measures that you want to be preventable for your children when they do go out into the world?
I'll let James go first. Jay go first. Excuse me.
Well, you can only do the best that you can because once they leave out the door to go to school, they're like influenced by their peers. So you could do all you could do is the best. Tell them, try to teach them, show them the best way to do what need to be done, and think before they do anything. Tell them keep an open mind to what you do. Because if you don't let them have open mind to what they do, their influence their peers will influence them to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And there's roads that they go down, and in some roads once they go down, it's hard to bring them back when they get to a certain age. I went through that with my oldest son. He went down a road that I tried to bring him back from. It was already too late. I didn't give up on him, but he's going down that road. And the best thing, all you can do is try to teach him the right thing to do, right way to do this, right way to do that. Things, but if you want to do it this way. If you want to do it that way. Don't cut corners to do what you need to do.
And I want to pick back. So there, once your kids get a certain age, you kind of let them out into the world. Like they're gonna see it. You can't shelter them, forever. They're gonna see the. I always the person that you needed when you were younger, and I believe like I had some male influence in my life, but I had some bad male influences in my life. And as I got older, what I tried to do is I always told myself that when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure that I'm approachable, because the last thing I want to do is my son that he get his knowledge first from the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him, I met his mother when he was, I believe, years old. He's 16 now, so known me for, if not 7, 8, half his life. And ever since he known me, he's known that I was somebody that I'm not to say you could admire, but I'm somebody that you could kind of take advice from, because everything, a lot of times kids believe that their parents don't know what they're talking about, don't know what's going on. We always know what's going on. Every parent knows what's going on, but I always believe that the best way of is that when they're faced with it, that, or if they want to come to you about how they feel, because I do believe that we were generationally cursed because of the upbringing of blacks on how to approach your children. And I get that we were that kid who needed to talk to when we was not feeling good. You don't, and a lot of man up, because of course that's before us believe, because if you show what people perceive to be weakness, it it's a sign that that you could be broken, or whatever the case may be. So I always tell my son, whatever chance I get, dude, if you feel some type of way, if you need something to get off your chest, if you have a dilemma, if you have a question, if you anything, a feeling, just know that you can come to me and we can have a conversation, because I don't want you to think I'm gonna talk at you when you're coming to me with a dilemma, or you're coming to me with a question. I want you to feel like when we got something from that knowledge that you got from that conversation will lead you into when situations approach, you can always either take my advice, you always just want to give your kids advice, or you could try it out on your own and see what happens. And we don't want that for our children. Listen, I believe the best thing that we any is to listen to our kids, or to approach our kids mind, whether you totally disagree, at least you can best advice that way, and you just, like you said, you just got to let them out into the world, and you just pray for them every night. Your parents and grandparents get
you. I know that to be true. Definitely know that to be true. So the last question, well, next to last question would be, through your experience, what would you tell another dad who's sitting at that table receiving that diagnosis, or going through the child being born early, and going through early intervention? Like, I know, because when you sat at that table, you might not have had anybody to give you any advice or any words of encouragement, but because of your journey that you went through so far, what would you tell another dad who's experiencing that now?
I guess I'll go first. Best advice in my position, I got some advice from one of Milan's teachers one time, and it stuck with me through the whole way. But anybody who is listening to this podcast and have a child who they may have with verbal or nonverbal, or any child on the spectrum, a father to do it, or any parent, which is what the specialist told me, which was, don't try to take them out of their world. Go into their world, and then slowly get them to come into your world, and then you'll have a better relationship with the child who's on the spectrum. Milan, she is, I don't want to say she's very, but she likes me around. So I'm not saying I'm the favorite parent, she likes me. I would just tell any parent, initially, one is going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It might be accepted. You might be able to accept it better than other parents. But just learn your child, and through that, your child will learn you, and will learn more about the world. Yeah, I apologize. It went dark, but you can reach Alexis and Awesome Brushes at Awesome Brushes, AUTSOME brushes.com. She's located 17th North Lansdale. North Lansdowne, 19050. And I also have a base, called Big Brother Contract. We pretty much do residential, mainly uh, remodeling basements, bathrooms, kitchens. We do exterior work. We do finish work, plumbing, a little bit of roofing. And you can reach us at bigbrothercontractingllc.com. You can also see us on Instagram and Facebook at Big Brother Contracting LLC. And to all the dads out there, whether your child has special needs, whether your child is an athlete, whether your child is just finding his way through life, you stick with them. You make sure you always give them an ear for them to listen, and you just do the best you can as a father and be the best parent that you could possibly be.
Awesome. All right, Jay, you up? Any final words? And I don't know if Jordan said I tell the world all his business, so so I don't know if you want to give out your social media handles if any parents have any questions, but you're welcome to share, and then any final words.
I'm a truck driver. Whereas though we always need drivers. Get this. I recommend I tell people get their CDL if they want to make money. See the world. See the United States for free.
Can I say one final thing, especially to all the young brothers out there? Like I said, contracting. I'm always looking for young, but I do encourage all young, especially us young males and females. Go out there and try your best to get yourself a trade. Women, all men, try to get yourself a trade, whether it be truck driving, whether it be being a barber, whether a hairstylist, whether it's being a plumber, electrician, an HVAC guy, roofer. Get yourself something that you can financially provide for yourself and for your family, where you can do big, get big work and make yourself a good living, especially for you. The privileges I do have because I do contracting is I can kind of attend to Milan a little bit more. It makes me a little more independent, and it'll make a lot of people independent. I do encourage college. Some people are for college, but those who don't have intentions on going to college, try to get yourself out there, getting a trade, and who knows, maybe one day you can come work for me. You can come work for another big company. You could, work, pretty much just make a living for yourself, just being hands-on, because I do believe that, especially as young black men, we have a lot of talent, and black women, we have a lot of talent, and don't know how to get through life. We think that sometimes you just need to get a 9 to 5. Some of us are doing very well, like as far as, college and whatnot. But if you don't know what you're going to go through in life, just try to go to trade school and see if it's something in there that you'll like.
Yep. I agree with that, because with everything that's going on, man, a lot of you need a trade to fall back on.
There you go.
If you don't have a trade and learn and find out what you can do, you'll never make it anywhere else.
So, that's a big thing. I probably encourage all people. If you don't know, if you feel like, listen, you're working at a job you don't like, you're not doing what you like, but then you're at home, just being hands-on, just like I said, go, they have it for court typing. I went to Orleans Tech, if anybody was interested in where I attended, and I got a certificate, and I got my OSHA certificate there. They're located on Red Lion Road, is off of Roosevelt Boulevard. If any kid out there interested, and you can leave me a message on Big Brother Contracting LLC by email, or you can send it through Instagram, and as quickly as possible.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for coming to. I was about to call it the Roundtable. I was teasing Eric earlier. I was like, I'm gonna give me a red table and a red couch, like Jada Pinkett and though. But definitely, thank you for coming on and sharing your experience. It was a pleasure hearing the dad's story and perspective. It's always different than the moms. Like even when I'm talking to a dad, They might be on my caseload or something, like just their experience and their thinking is always different, but it's always a blessing to have both parents involved in the child's experience and going through with their diagnosis and their journey. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. I hope you both enjoyed your Father's Day.
Yes.
And please, like anything, any resources, anything that we can do, definitely reach out. Um, and we will support you guys as much as possible.
So Jay,
But again,
it was great talking to you, man. Sometimes we do need more male conversations like this, so that we can, it's sometimes as men we don't express our feelings. We try to be as strong as we can for our families, but it's always good to like talk to another male.
Yeah.
Similarities as you.
Yeah, most of the time we don't hear about the dads. The dads don't talk to each other about the situations with their kids, and we don't know.
Yeah.
And most of the time, all the help the dads get is from what the advocates or whatever programs the kids are in that they tell us. Don't nobody else tell us nothing for us to be prepared for what's going to happen.
Right.
I just want to thank Jay and Eric for coming on and sharing their story with us this evening. If anyone wanted to reach out to Advocate for Me, you can reach us on our website, which is www.lmadvocateforme.com. And you can reach us on Instagram, where it is Advocate for Me _L McMillan. And Facebook, our Facebook page is Advocate for Me with the number 1. And I think that's it. We thank you for tuning in and listening to our podcast. Look forward to future episodes. Our next episode will be a segment, part 2 of the Fathers Roundtable, where we have 2 fathers again discussing their journey and taking care of their children with different abilities. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy this episode.